Wow. Wow. I'm going to keep this short because I actually have to go to bed, but I am just like playing catch up. Obviously, you guys know I was baking all day, and I'm playing catch up on this Nicki Minaj saga. And all I can say is wow. I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to be 100% honest and open that in a way, I'm glad this is happening. Not because she deserves it. Obviously, I've been very vocal in defending her, but because she has such a huge fan base and such a dedicated fan base that this incident will go a really long way in terms of waking people up to the evils of the mainstream media, to the way that they all just, it seems like they get a text message and they say, take that person out. And then every late night host, every media host, every, government official is out saying a lie. They're just lying about something that never happened and pretending that this person is crazy. I mean, obviously it's happened to me so many times. But for those of you guys that don't know what happened, some of you guys are saying what happened. Nicki Minaj tweeted, I believe it was yesterday. She tweeted yesterday so that a friend of her cousin's had a reaction in his testicles to the vaccine. That was what she tweeted. So I'm just keeping this 100% factual. And she didn't say like this happens to everybody. She didn't say this is gonna definitely happen to you, don't get the vaccine. She just said like, do your research, think and pray on the vaccine. And if the establishment had just let it ride, people would have probably not thought twice. But of course, you are not allowed to speak against Big Pharma. And Nicki Minaj is not in politics, so we know how much control and power they have, how much money they throw at, so many individuals, corporations, even Facebook, billions and billions of dollars that they're giving every year to make sure that no one ever talks against them. And at the moment, they don't care about anything other than making sure that every single person gets this vaccine. And Nicki Minaj just kind of said something that happened, and they are going after her right now in a way that I have not seen. I mean, she's getting like treatment akin to, conservatives. Like when we say something against Democrat Party, Black conservatives, like they just go nuts. They make stuff up. Do yourself a favor, because I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are Nicki Minaj fans that are watching this video. Do yourself a favor now, just watching the situation. So you are watching in real time. They are lying about somebody that you love. They're lying about Nicki Minaj. They're saying they're calling her crazy. They're calling her unstable. They have the Minister of Health coming out to speak out against her. Not a single one of these people have ever reached out and said, hey, can I speak to the person to see if this happened? No, because that's not what they do. This is not journalism. This is propaganda. A journalist would say, hey, I'd like to actually look into what you said to determine whether or not you're a liar. But they're just going, no, she's a liar. Nobody look at, no. She's literally yesterday, Piers Morgan sensationally tweets that she's the reason people are going to die. Like literally they're calling her a murderer now. Like it's just the wildest, most insane thing I've ever seen. And what's really funny about this especially is that, when it comes to reactions to the vaccines, they're literally pretending it doesn't happen, while at the same time you can do basic research. For example, right now in Singapore, you guys might remember there was a 16-year-old boy who got the Pfizer vaccine and went into cardiac arrest. And at that time, all the media was coming out being like, oh, well, the kid lifted weights and he took some vitamin supplements, like that makes a difference. And they were kind of trying to hide that. Well, just this week, you can look it up. That kid actually received a settlement from the government to help him. They acknowledged that, yes, this adverse reaction was likely a myocarditis event. You can look this up on Yahoo News. So don't try to fact check this or erase it, Instagram. Okay. It's one of your mainstream outlets that's even reporting it. He received what, is akin to $166,000 payout from the Ministry of Health in Singapore, whatever their health organization. Basically, the government gave him $160,000 to help with his injuries, and they admitted that this was an adverse reaction. But to think about this, early on, before they acknowledged and put a warning that myocarditis in teenagers was happening because of the vaccine, mothers were coming out and saying it was happening. And they were all called liars. They were having their accounts deleted. People were saying, issuing labels, taking them down off of Instagram, all of these things, saying it's not happening, until they had to finally acknowledge it was happening. And now there's a warning about the heart inflammation, myocarditis heart inflammation that teenagers are experiencing. And now they say it's exceedingly rare, but it can happen. And similarly, I and many other people had used our platforms to talk about the fact that we knew a lot of women, I obviously didn't get the vaccine, but we knew a lot of women that had gotten the vaccine and they were having weird menstruation responses to it. Well, go back and look up like the menstruation thing, and you will find actual doctors, big pharma people that were writing articles against this and saying it is a impossibility. It is physiologically impossible, biologically impossible that this vaccine could impact menstruation. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, now the NIH is saying that they're putting millions of dollars towards investigating this side effect. So really the truth is that they keep censoring and calling everybody crazy until, time goes by and they can no longer deny that things are happening. Now, I'm not saying that this confirms the story. I don't know. I did not go and ask Nicki Minaj or get in touch with her cousin, but it's the same thing that they keep doing repeatedly, which is that they say it's impossible, it's not happening, you're a liar, you're crazy, and all of these things. And they refuse to just, listen to people or have an honest conversation, which I think is a reason why people are more distrusting of Big Pharma, because of the lengths that they are going through to take down good people. I mean, Nicki Minaj has nothing to do with politics. She even said at one point, I'm probably likely going to get the vaccine because I'm going to have to go on tour. But like, she is basically saying to people, think critically and do your research. Like, when did that become a crime to say, think critically and do your research? Like, this is crazy stuff. Even the White House is now trying to say, we didn't even invite her here. We just offered to get her on the phone with a doctor who could help her understand the effects. Like Don Lemon. I mean, all the usual suspects, Don Lemon, late night TV hosts, CNN, the people that we've been saying are fake news since forever. Like, it was like they all got a text message and it was like, kill Nicki Minaj, or I should say, not I'm just being hyperbolic here because I know Instagram will look for anything to take a video down, but it was like they were like, go after, target Nicki Minaj is a better way of saying it. And just across the board, they are all going after her aggressively, telling her, she tweeted a video of a segment, I was on the segment with Tucker Carlson, and we just defended her, being like, why can't she tell people to think critically? I mean, that's all we ask. Why can't she ask people to think critically? And I mean, they're all being like, you're now endorsing a white supremacist. Like, what are you talking about? How is Tucker Carlson a white supremacist? How am I a white supremacist? What are you even talking about? But this is what they do. And so I'm hopeful that, first and foremost, if you're a Nicki Minaj fan, I definitely was a Nicki Minaj fan growing up all throughout high school. But if you're a Nicki Minaj fan and you're kind of for the first time seeing this, the treatment of the media, and you're shocked by this, I invite you to do more digging, because she's not the first person that has gotten this treatment. A lot of people that you thought that you hate, think that you hate, a lot of people that you think that the media has told you the truth about, you have likely been lied to about. A perfect place to start is with me. One of the biggest lies ever told about me in the mainstream media was that I said racism doesn't exist. This was a made-up quotation that never came out of my mouth. It was made up by, I think, The Root or The Daily Beast, and it said, the headline was, Candance says racism is over because she's never been a slave, and they didn't put racism is over in quotation marks because they made that part up. I never said it. And I did say I've never been a slave, and that has been one of the most viral lies about me, that every person who hates me is like, Candance says racism doesn't exist. Candance says racism is over. I never said it, ever. They just hate me because I've been talking to Black America about this exact thing that Nicki Minaj is going through, that there is an elite crowd that control, trillions of dollars behind. They control the media. They control who you're supposed to like, who you're supposed to hate. And they are controlling the way that you vote, controlling the way that you think, controlling the actions you take, even if it's down to saying, I'm going to take a vaccine or not take a vaccine. They are true propagandists, right? Nicki Minaj is coming up against the propaganda army. And I think it's really going to hopefully wake her up. I think she's a strong individual. She doesn't seem like the type of person to me that would be like, I'm just going to do this. Somebody else said it. She just doesn't come across like someone who's trying to appease people to get invited into the cool club. But more importantly, I think this really represents a moment for millions and millions and millions of her fans all across the world to really understand what it is that we're fighting here. And it is an elite cabal of people that control the flow of information. They control the flow of conversation. They control who we like and who we hate, and control what we put into our bodies. So keep the conversation going. More power, Nicki Minaj. Huge fan. Absolutely loving this. Everything that you're doing in terms of just standing up. And I hope to see more of it. And if they unlock your account, I think she said recently that they had put some limits on her account because you're not allowed to talk against Big Pharma. All right, guys, I gotta go to bed. Love you all. Goodbye. Kudos to Nicki Minaj.